Hi, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts and welcome to another Top Tip Tuesday. So Top Tip Tuesday is when I share tips and tricks that I picked up over the years of using stamp ink and paper. Today's is really quick, really easy, but possibly something that we don't do often enough. So let me flip the camera down and we'll take a look. So I have a nice clear desk, but I'm talking about black and white images. Now, I think we quite often get our heads around colouring black and white flowers, those sorts of things. But when it comes to just designs, like in the black and white paper that is in the current mini catalogue, so this is the July to December 2022 catalogue. On page, I want to say 55, we've got the black and white designs paper, which are in black, white and basic grey. Some of them lend themselves really well to having colour added. Now, you can use blending brushes, you can use all sorts of things, but I was inspired by the washi tape that is in the same area of the catalogue. It's on page 57. This comes in glitter and it's black, pumpkin pie, Highland heather and old olive. So I thought, what would happen if we added colour to the zigzag? Now I've got a small piece here just to show you what I mean. So I'm going to take my pumpkin pie and I'm just going to add colour to the zigzags. Now you can do this with either end of your stamping blend, so that's the bullet end. If you go to the brush tip, the brush tip's great for either very, very detailed work, or if you use the side, or more of the side rather than the tip, you can fill in larger spaces quite quickly. So that's pumpkin pie. Old olive. This is an older olive and has been fairly well loved. So the tip is a little softer than it was originally. Someone got their hands on it and was a bit brutal. But that's the pumpkin pie. And then if we take Highland heather, again, we can just add that lovely colour onto our zigzags. And we've already got the black because that's the background. Or the outline, I suppose, really, rather than the background. We could also do that on this side. So if you wanted to colour your narrower zigzags, you can do that. So that's the pumpkin pie, the Highland heather. If we take the old olive, this is really quick to add colour to because obviously it's black, so you don't have to colour within the lines so much. So those are the two looks. You've got your, let me find my snips, which I thought I had put away and I haven't. There's a surprise. So let's cut that in half so we can do this, or we can do this. So you can get two effects from the paper depending on whether you go for the thick stripes or the thin stripes. So why don't we try and put that onto a card? So I have prepared a black base. I am actually going to bring in a white liner, and I've got an old olive mat and a black mat or layer, and I'm going to bring in the Bewitching stamp set. I've got the others stamped already mounted up, but let me get this one out, and I need a block. And I thought it would be fun to have her feet hanging from the top of the inside of the card. So I'm going to add tuxedo black to that. And then, with luck and a fair wind, I'm going to line up the top of the stamp with the top of the card. I think that's going to be about right. Fingers crossed. Yay! More or less, I can add in some black. There's just a tiny little bit at the top there that's not. And we can then add the same colour to her stockings. I'm filming on a really, really wet afternoon. It's only just gone 5 o'clock. It feels as if it's the middle of the night because it's so dark, and it is lashing down. And then if I bring in my basic black blend, I can just run that across the top there. And why don't we, just for fun, this is light smoky slate. I'm going to colour the buckle of her shoes with smoky slate. And then grab my clear wink of Stella and add some sparkle on top. I'm going to need a new clear wink of Stella soon. This is beginning to get a little dry. So we've got a little bit of sparkle on our, don't know if it's going to pick up. I can see it, but I don't think you'll be able to. Anyway, so we've got that on the inside of the card. So let's put our outside together. Now, I am going to do something a little rash. So this I want to have over the whole of this green layer. This is Old Olive, and I was thinking I might be able to line it up so that I've got the same zigzag pattern on both sides. So I'm just going to add some seal. I'm adding more length than I would normally, purely because I am going to be cutting some of it off, so I want to make sure that it's, have I got it where I need it? Yes. Right, so I'm going to have it towards the bottom and line that up there, come straight across like that. I'm just going to trim that off. So I have got a bit of seal sticking out on the side, but there'll be enough left that it will hold this in place. Like that. And trim this one as well. This should be easier because I don't think I've got quite so much sticky this side. So we've got our lovely piece of paper, and then I'm going to cut my basic black so that I expose the coloured piece. It is the right size if I didn't want to do what I'm about to do, but I'm going to mark there and then mark here, because then I'll end up with this piece as a solid piece, which I will use for other things. So if we bring in my lovely trimmer, make sure I'm not covering it up. So I'm going to slice there, that's spare, and there, pop that away. So these are going to go without the pencil mark showing, there and there. So in fact that's going to be the bottom because that's slightly narrower, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to add things to it, and I'm going to add it before I stick it down, because I want the washi tape to be a feature of my card. So I'm going to add a strip of black to the cut edge of both panels. I haven't got my lighting quite right today. It's partly because it's so dark in my room. And I'm deliberately leaving them long because I am going to tuck the ends in. And then pumpkin pie. Highland heather. And last but not least, old olive. I love this washi tape. It is just amazing, and it's not just for Halloween. Just because they are in what's becoming classic Halloween colours doesn't mean you can't use the old olive on Christmas. You can use the black on Christmas and all sorts of things. You can use the pumpkin pie on autumn. So many different ways of using them. So please, please, please don't think of them as only being for Halloween. And that one's just tucking out a bit, so let's fold that so that it's in nicely. That one's not folded well. There we are. We want these as square as possible. So that's the top, because we don't want the width of the card to be impacted too much, because we've got that nice margin that we're going to use. Right, now I'm going to use some Seal Plus over my washi tape just to make sure that that sticks nicely. Might have been easier to use, in fact it will be easier to use Terran tape, because the glitter is not being terribly friendly when it comes to sticking. So I just want a little piece just to make sure that those edges are stuck down nicely. I've got enough on there. Let's pop some over here. So it just keeps those ends behaving. Pop that away. Right, this is the top because it's slightly wider. Peel off the top layer of our Terran tape. Probably easier to do that when you... The whole piece has come off. It's probably easier to do it when you aren't holding a piece of gluey card. In fact, that doesn't want to stick at all. So I'm actually going to use my liquid adhesive because that will stick. She says famous last words. This was going to be a really quick project to go alongside my Top Tip Tuesday. The best laid plans, as they say. I think I might just manage that one. There we go. Right. So this goes at the top. We've got that little bit of slippage, whoops, that little bit of slippage that the liquid adhesive gives us. That's that one. Let's remove the backing of this before I put the glue on. scribble that. And add that to this end. Except the other way up would be good. Let's give up with the tear and tape on that glitter. Glitter can be tricksy. And then we're going to fold this add liquid adhesive to the back. And then on the Blue Peter, here's something I've prepared earlier. I've taken this hat, I've stamped it with Versamark, heat embossed with silver embossing powder, and then this is a piece of silver foil. And I'm going to grab some black dimensionals and add this to my card. And obviously you can add a sentiment if you want. So there's some nice areas for adding sentiments. So let's add this there. And just for fun, let's grab the spider and a block and add that there. Now I'm deliberately down from the glitter, so we've got our little spider, and then I can take a black marker and just add the extra dots. This is one of our old journaling pens, and just add the extra dots to pop him further up, so he's got his spider's web. So that's the outside of our card. We just need to add the inside and we are done. Without that. So we've got our fun inside and our hat with our spider on the outside, and all that glitter and lovely colour. So there you go. Let me move that because it's glaring. So colour your paper. That's what this is all about. Do remember that you can colour your paper. Let me flip the camera back up so I can say goodbye properly. You can see just how dark it is in my room now. So there we are. There's the card with all that lovely glitter on it. Love a bit of glitter. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back live later today because I'm back from holiday. So I will look forward to seeing you at 11 o'clock UK time for some live crafting and coffee. See you then. Bye for now.